123 grains of sand dropped from the hourglass. It's how much time I got left on this planet.
Something strangely profound surrounds the life and career of Eric Eazy E. Wright. One of the most fascinating avenues of research, in my opinion, is discovering what have been described as synchronicities within memorable events or someone's life story. In certain cases, they accumulate to such a degree, both in number and increased improbability, that they cause even a highly skeptical observer to ponder as to whether or not they were intentionally placed to possibly communicate another hidden message. Straight Outta Compton was released on August 8th, 1988, or 8/8/88. The album that is almost solely recognized as representing the exact birthplace of so-called gangster rap came to be on 8/8/88. Obviously, the uniqueness of this date jumps out all on its own without me needing to expound further on it.
Hi, I'm Tabitha Soren with an MTV News Brief. Tupac Shakur's first posthumous release, originally intended as an EP, has been expanded to a full-length album. But with interest in Shakur's music at an all-time high, Death Row Records chose to add 6 more previously recorded tracks. Don Illuminati is still scheduled to hit record stores on Election Day, November 5th.
8 years and 88 days after 8/8/88 brings us to November 5th, 1996. And this day in history brought us to what can be considered the death of so-called gangster rap, with a release almost as synonymous with the end as Straight Outta Compton's representation of the beginning. Machiavelli, the Don Illuminati, the 7-Day Theory was released 11/5/1996. 8 years and 88 days, 2 months plus 28 days after 8/8/88 and the release of Straight Outta Compton. Prior to this period, Tupac and Eazy E actually did cross paths in a meaningful way for a short while, but it wasn't something heavily publicized at the time. This was due to Eazy using Treach from Naughty by Nature in a writing capacity for some of Eazy's EP 5150, Home for the Sick. And this brought Tupac along due to his close affiliation with Treach. The 8/8/88 and 8 years and 88 days later fact is one that I like a lot, as even the most staunchly pessimistic observer would be hard-pressed to find an avenue to dismiss it simply as coincidence. With that as a foundational fact, the more that can be added to further the connection will make the odds of it being a random accidental coincidence astronomical in nature. I generally try my best to create those tough decisions in the mind of the skeptic in my work, staying with the number 8 for the time being. On Thug Life Volume 1, Track 10, on the song Straight Ballin', Tupac raps.
Ain't no telling what you might roll. You might roll, catch AIDS from a slight cold.
Tupac has seemingly described exactly the strange and unlikely circumstances involving the death of Eazy E in these lyrics. Thug Life Volume 1 was released on September 26, 1994, or 151 days before Eric Wright checked into the hospital for a respiratory infection, only to learn suddenly that he was in the later stages of full-blown AIDS infection. Eazy was taken to the hospital on February 24, 1995. This is the 55th day of the calendar year. A quick synchronicity sidebar about this date. E is the 5th letter of the English alphabet, so Eazy E or EE could be seen as 55. The 5th letter of the Hebrew alphabet is He, representing H, which is the 8th in the English alphabet, a cross correspondence to 88. Eazy had 2 easy visible links to consider when discussing Hebrew-Jewish connections: Jerry Heller and the JDL returning to the timeline and shedding an even more ominous aspect to the Eazy E AIDS conspiracy theories. Consider this. In 1992, Eazy E released an EP named 5150, Home for the Sick. This was the release in which Treach and Tupac were involved creatively. Eazy E was admitted to Cedars Sinai Medical Center under the alias Eric Lawless. Eazy stayed in room 5105 compared to 5150, home for the sick. Eazy E died on March 26, 1995, the 85th day of the year, 55, 88, or a little of both, 85. A few more quick and strange connections between Eazy E and Tupac. Eazy E released his debut album, Eazy Does It, on September 13th, 1988, exactly 8 years prior to the alleged death of Tupac Shakur. September 13, 1988, exactly 8 years prior to September 13, 1996. Eazy Does It, released September 13th, 1988. Eric Wright was born on September 7th, 1964. September 7th being the day that Tupac Shakur was shot in Las Vegas in 1996. The year 64 jumps off the page as it corresponds to the hook of Eazy E and NWA's initial entry into the public awareness, Boys in the Hood, which is often unofficially alternatively titled My 6'4", due to the aforementioned memorable hook, rolling down the street in my 6'4". 8 times 8 equals 64. 88. NWA and the Posse released exactly 9 years prior to the 7 Day Theory. The 7 Day Theory had a November 5th release compared to NWA's November 6th release, but both were the 310th day of their respective years. Due to 1996 being a leap year, this changed the date by 1 day. 11/6 is 55 days prior to the completion of the year. Another connection to the 7 Day Theory lies embedded in the Boys in the Hood song length 537. 53 days after Tupac's death came the 7 Day Theory. Add this to the overall odds of the established 8-year and 88-day Straight Outta Compton to 7 Day Theory correspondence, and we are closing in on astronomical. This will take us the rest of the way, based on NWA and the Posse being 9 years exactly prior to the 7 Day Theory versus Straight Outta Compton, and the 7 Day Theory's 8-year and 88-day offset. I could do some deductive mathematics to see how many days separate NWA's first 2 album releases. 365 days minus 88 days equals 257 days difference. The 257th day of the year in a leap year, such as 1996, is September 13th, which is the day that Tupac found his exit. So, what connects all of these synchronicities? Maybe the title of the post, which is taken straight from the name of a song featured on Eazy Does It, can point us in a possible strong direction. Eazy chapter 8, verse 10, I believe may refer to this, Luke chapter 8, verse 10. Now pay attention here because we're going to compare these 2 paragraphs. He said, the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of God has been given to you, but to others I speak in parables, so that, though seeing, they may not see, though hearing, they may not understand. And compare that to, cause the boys in the hood are always hard. You come talking that trash and we'll pull your card. Knowing nothing in life but to be legit. Don't quote me, boy, cause I ain't said shit. Eazy E, Boys in the Hood. Further, it also applies geniusness to these releases, or a profound divine intervention that connects all of these events and important albums to our lives together. Straight Outta Compton and Machiavelli, the 7 Day Theory, were certainly checkpoints on how I view the timeline of my life. I can't help but wonder if that BULLSHIT is an acronym for something.
Rapper Eazy E has died in Los Angeles after a battle with AIDS.
Which is why you might not have guessed that Eazy E, Eric Wright is his real name, would be among this group of well-off Republicans who paid $1,250 to become members of something called the Republican Inner Circle.
Time is moving real fast and not that slow. I thought I had an hour, but it's seconds after go. I run into the office, no more time is left, so I dive into the doctor with the bomb to my